Once upon a time, there was a quiet girl named Amora. She had big curious eyes and neat braids. Her mother loved to pack every morning. Amora loved drawing flowers on the corners of her books, and she loved reading stories about brave children. But there was one thing that tied her stomach in a tight knot every day: maths. Numbers made her feel small. They chased her around like bees. Amora's mother, Ngozi, was a famous businesswoman in Lagos. People said she was strong, smart, and always busy. She wanted the best for her only child. She paid for the best school, the best uniform, and the best private tutors. But none of these things could stop Amora's fear when a teacher asked her a simple question in class. That morning, the sun made the classroom windows shine. The clock ticked loudly. The whiteboard was full of multiplication tables. Mr. Bayo, the maths teacher, looked around the class and smiled. "All right, class. Quick check. Who will help us with this?" He wrote 7 by 6 on the board. His eyes moved slowly across the room, and then they stopped on Amora. "Amora, please stand and tell us the answer." Amora's heart dropped. She stood up, feeling the whole class turn to look at her. Her hands were cold. She tried to remember the numbers from last night's lesson, but her mind was empty. She saw lines. She heard the clock. She swallowed. "Amora." Mr. Bayo's voice was gentle but firm. "Go ahead." She opened her mouth. 20, 25. A boy at the back snorted. Someone giggled. A girl in front whispered, "No, no." Amora's cheeks burned. Mr. Bayo kept his smile, but it looked tired now. "Let's think again. 7 times 6. You can break it into smaller parts. What is 7 times 5? Amora stared at the windows. She wanted the sun to carry her away. 35, she whispered. "Good," he nodded. "Now add one more 7. Her lips trembled. 42. "Please say it clearly." 42, she said, as if the number had been hiding under her tongue all along. "Correct." He wrote 42 on the board. "Next time, think in steps. Don't panic." But the class had heard her first wrong answer. A boy at the back, Somto, lifted his hand and spoke without waiting. "Sir, can I ask Amora another one?" He didn't wait for permission. He said loudly, "Amora, what is 2 times 2? Is it 22? The class burst into laughter. It echoed against the windows. Amora's eyes filled with tears. She wanted to sit, but her knees felt weak. Mr. Bayo frowned at Somto. "That's enough. Apologize." Somto rolled his eyes. "Sorry." Amora sat down very slowly. She kept her face down. The numbers on the board were a blur. The clock kept ticking. It sounded like the whole school was counting her shame. When the bell rang, she walked out alone, holding her bag tight. 2 girls whispered as she passed. "Her mother is rich," one said. "How can she still fail maths?" The words stuck to Amora's back like pins. In the car, the driver greeted her. "Good afternoon, Madam Small." Amora forced a smile. She stared out of the window and watched hawkers pass by with bottled water and groundnuts. She pressed her lips together so she wouldn't cry again. But the tears came anyway, silent and hot. At home, the gate opened to a large compound and neat flowers. The house was bright and beautiful, but Amora's chest felt heavy. She walked into the living room. Ngozi was on a call, talking about a charity event. When she saw Amora, she ended the call. "How was school?" Ngozi asked, standing straight, her eyes sharp. Amora swallowed. "Fine." "Your teacher called me," Ngozi said softly, but there was a hard edge in her voice. "He said you struggled in class again today. Amora, we have talked about this. You have good tutors. You have all the books you need. Why are you not paying attention?" Amora looked down at her shoes. "I am trying, Mummy." "Trying is not enough anymore," Ngozi replied. "Your exams are coming. We cannot be having this problem with simple multiplication. Sit down. We are having an extra session today." A tutor came and sat in the dining room with a thick textbook. He explained times tables quickly. He wrote lines and numbers, and his pen made a sharp scratching sound. Amora felt her chest tighten again. The numbers jumped. She nodded, but nothing stayed in her head. After 2 hours, the tutor smiled at Ngozi. "She will get there," he said. "She just needs to focus." When the door closed, Amora put her head on the table. "Mummy, I don't understand his way," she said, voice shaking. "The numbers run away from me." Ngozi rubbed her own forehead. She was tired too. "We will try again tomorrow. Go and do your homework." Amora went to her room and stared at the page. Multiplication. Fractions. The words strained her eyes. She tried to breathe deeply. She wrote an answer. Then she scratched it. She tried again. It felt like someone had tied a knot in her throat. The next day after school, the driver was late. Amora stood outside the school gate, holding her bag. The street was noisy with honking cars and shouting traders. She needed air. She needed silence. She walked down the road to the small park near the school. There were trees and a few empty benches. The wind moved the leaves gently. She sat on a bench and pulled out her homework. She tried to multiply 8 by 7. Her hand shook. She wrote 56, then stared at it and crossed it out, even though it was right. She wrote 46, then 62. She pressed her eyes shut. A soft voice came from the side. "You look like you want to fight the paper." Amora looked up. A boy stood near her. He was about 14. His shirt was torn at the shoulder. His slippers were thin. He held a small plastic bag of groundnuts. His eyes were kind. I can't do it," Amora said. "It makes no sense to me." He didn't move closer, as if he didn't want to scare her. "Do you mind if I sit? I can help if you like. My name is Chaik." She hesitated, then nodded. He sat at the far end of the bench, leaving space. He looked at her page. "Okay," he said softly. "You are not wrong for feeling scared. I used to be scared too. But numbers are just small groups. Can we try something?" Amora nodded again, wiping her eyes. Chaik looked around and found a few small sticks under the bench. He broke them into short pieces. He also took 12 groundnuts from his bag. He placed them on the bench in small rows. "See this?" he said. 7 groups of 8. We will build it. 1, 2, 3, 8. He placed 8 groundnuts in a row. Now again. 1, 2, 3. He made 7 rows. Count all of them slowly. Amora leaned in. She touched each one with her finger. 1, 2, 3, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56. Chaik nodded. "So, 7 times 8 is?" 56, she whispered. "Good. You said it with your hands. Your eyes saw it. Your brain felt it." Amora laughed a little, surprised. It makes sense." Chaik smiled, and his face softened. "Numbers are not monsters. They just want to be grouped." "Can we try another one?" she asked quickly, almost excited. "Let's do 6 times 6, he said. He arranged the groundnuts again. She counted slowly. When she reached 36, she looked up, amazed. "I did it," she said, almost laughing. "You did," he replied. "And you can do it again. Do you have sticks at home? Buttons? Bottle caps? Use them. Build the problem first, then count." She nodded, her eyes bright. "Thank you, Chaik. Nobody ever explained it this way." Chaik shrugged. "I like maths. I used to be in school. My teacher said I was good at it." He paused, as if he had said too much. "Anyway, I'm happy to help." Amora looked at him closely. "Why are you not in school now?" He looked down at his hands. "It's a long story." Then he smiled again, small and brave. "But one day, I will go back. For now, we can fix your homework." They worked through more problems. Chaik used tiny stones for fractions. "If you have 8 stones and you shade 4, that's 1/2, he said. "If you shade 2, that's 1/4. He made clean shapes with his fingers, calm and patient. Amora felt her fear melting away like ice in the sun. "Chike," she whispered after a while, "I don't feel stupid now." "You were never stupid," he said. "You just needed the right door to enter the house." They both laughed. The park felt warm and safe. The trees moved. Somewhere, a bird called. A small girl ran past them chasing a butterfly. Time slowed down in a good way. "Amora." The voice cut the air like a sharp knife. Amora froze. She turned her head slowly. Ngozi stood a few steps away, wearing a crisp dress and dark sunglasses pushed up on her hair. Her face was tight with shock. One of the family guards stood behind her. People walking by stopped to look. "Stand up," Ngozi said to Amora in a low, firm voice. "Right now." Amora rose, her hands shaking. Chike's eyes dropped to the ground. He slid the groundnuts back into his bag quickly. Ngozi looked at Chike, her eyes cold. "Who are you? Why are you sitting with my daughter?" "Mummy, he was just helping me," Amora said, her voice small. "He showed me." "Helping you?" Ngozi's voice rose, not loud, but hard. "We do not sit on park benches with strangers. We do not take lessons from boys selling groundnuts. Do you understand me?" Amora glanced at Chike, panic on her face. "He made me understand. Please, Mummy." Ngozi turned to the guard. "Get the car." Chike stood up slowly. "Madam, I'm sorry," he said softly. "She was struggling. I only wanted—" "Enough," Ngozi cut in. "Do not come near my child again." Chike nodded once. He held the plastic bag close to his chest. He took a step back, then another, as if not to scare anyone. His eyes flicked to Amora for half a second. She looked like she wanted to cry. Ngozi took Amora's hand. "We are leaving," she said. "Now." They walked away. The guard followed. The car door opened. Amora sat in the back seat, her eyes full of tears that she tried to hide by looking out of the window. Chike stood by the bench with his small bag, watching the car pull away, the groundnuts rattling softly in the plastic as his hand shook. As the car turned out of the park, Amora pressed her palm against the glass. The bench grew smaller. The little stones on it were still in neat rows. The sun was lower now, and shadows stretched across the grass, long and thin, like lines of a lesson that wasn't finished. The door closed behind the day. And inside the quiet car, a number that finally made sense, 56, sat bright in Amora's mind, fighting not to fade. The car was silent at first. Amora sat with her hands on her lap, staring at the back of the front seat. Ngozi's face was calm, but her jaw was tight. The guard sat in front with the driver, saying nothing. The city moved past them. Traffic, people, noise. None of it felt real to Amora. Ngozi spoke at last, each word careful. "Tell me exactly what happened." Amora swallowed. "I was waiting for the driver. I went to the park. I tried my homework. I got stuck. Chike came and helped me." "Do you know him?" Ngozi asked. "No, Mummy. But he was kind. He showed me with stones and sticks. I understood." Ngozi stared out of the window. "You do not sit with strangers. Not ever." "He is not like that," Amora whispered. "He was gentle. He explained everything." Ngozi turned to look at her. "He is a boy I don't know, wearing torn clothes, in a public park. Do you hear how dangerous that is? I will not risk you." Amora's voice cracked. "But I finally understood, Mummy. For the first time, the numbers stayed." Ngozi sighed, long and tired. "Understanding is good. Safety is more important. This is the end of it." They reached home. The gate rolled open. The house stood like a quiet judge. Inside, the marble floor felt too cold under Amora's feet. She followed her mother to the living room. "Sit," Ngozi said. Amora sat on the edge of the sofa. Ngozi paced once, then faced her. "You will not go to the park alone again. You will not speak to that boy. If he comes near you, you will walk away and call the driver. Do you understand me?" "Yes, Mummy, Amora said, but her voice was small and breaking. Ngozi's phone buzzed. She ignored it. I love you. Everything I do is to protect you. The world is not kind, Amora. You must not open the door to trouble. Tears spilled down Amora's face. He is not trouble. He is a good person. Ngozi's eyes softened for a second. Many bad things hide behind kind faces. The driver stepped in with the guard. Madam, should I? Ngozi lifted a hand. Thank you. Please inform security. If that boy is seen near our compound or the park during pickup, alert me. Yes, madam, the guard said. Amora stood up suddenly. Please don't punish him. He did nothing wrong. Ngozi's voice stayed even. No one is punishing him. We are setting boundaries. Amora clenched her fingers together. I need his way of teaching. The tutor's way does not work for me. We will find another tutor, Ngozi replied. A better one. A professional. But he is the only one who made the numbers stop running, Amora said, her chest rising and falling. Please, please let me see him again. Only in the park. Only for maths. You can send a guard to stand there. I don't mind. Ngozi closed her eyes for a moment, fighting her own worry. When she opened them, they were steady. No, I have given my answer. Amora's shoulders fell. So I should fail again. You will not fail, Ngozi said. You will work hard, and we will help you. But we will do it the right way. Amora looked down at her shoes so her mother would not see her tears. Yes, Mummy. That evening, a new tutor came. He was kind, patient, and used bright flashcards and a small whiteboard. He asked Amora to chant tables. He drew boxes and arrows. He praised her effort. Amora tried to follow, but the fear in her chest pushed the numbers away. She nodded and repeated answers, but the light she had felt in the park was gone. After the tutor left, Amora stood by the window and pressed her forehead against the cool glass. She whispered, 7 times 8 is 56, just to hold the feeling from the park for one more minute. Ngozi walked in quietly and wrapped an arm around her. I know today was hard. Amora leaned into her. Mummy, I am not being stubborn. I just felt safe when he taught me. Ngozi's voice was gentle now. You felt safe because he was kind. But kindness from a stranger is not the same as safety. I cannot bet your life on it. Can you meet him properly? Amora asked in a rush. Just meet him, please. Ngozi hesitated. Then she shook her head. No, we are done with this. Sleep early. We try again tomorrow. Amora nodded. She walked to her room slowly, carrying her heavy heart like a big stone. Outside, night settled over the city. Cars still honked. People still called out prices. Somewhere far from the big house, under a concrete bridge, Chaik sat with his little sister, Ada. The air was damp and smelled like dust and smoke. A thin mat lay on the ground, and a plastic bucket sat near it. 2 other boys slept a few feet away, curled like kittens, trying to keep warm. Ada's eyes were bright even in the dark. She held a small, roasted corn in her hands. Brother, eat too. Chaik smiled and broke the corn into 2. We share, he said. He gave her the bigger half. She took a bite and then stared at him. Why is your face sad? Chaik forced his smile to stay. I am thinking. About school, she asked. He looked away. A little. She shifted closer, leaning against his shoulder. Will you go back one day? Yes, he said. His voice was soft, but the word was firm like a nail. One day, yes. Ada chewed slowly. You taught the girl today. Chaik nodded. Her name is Amora. Is she nice? Yes, he said, and this time the smile reached his eyes. She is very nice. And smart. She just needed to see the numbers, not chase them. Ada grinned. Like you teach me. With stones. Exactly, he said. You see? If we can touch it, we can learn it. Ada leaned her head on his arm. Did her mummy say thank you? Chike's smile faded a little. He chose his words with care. Her mother is afraid. She wants to protect her. From you. Ada blinked. From the world, Chike said. He looked at the dark line of the river beyond the bridge. People are afraid of people like us. Ada was quiet for a moment. Then she whispered, I am not afraid of you. Chike laughed softly and kissed the top of her head. That makes me strong. A breeze moved through the bridge, lifting the edge of the mat. Chike pulled it down and tucked it under their legs. He glanced at the plastic bucket. It held a bottle of water, a small bar of soap, and a folded shirt. The shirt had once been white. He had washed it so many times it had turned thin. Ada poked his arm. Tell me a story. Which one? He asked. The one where you answered a big maths question and everyone clapped. He stared at the dark, and for a moment his eyes shone. I stood in front of the class. My teacher said, who knows? I did. I said the answer. It felt like the sun came inside the room. Your hands hurt from clapping. I was small, Ada said, proud. I clapped the loudest. You did, he said, and his voice broke a little. He cleared his throat and sat up straighter. One day, I will stand again. You will sit in front. You will clap even louder. Ada nodded, convinced. Can I sleep now? Yes, he said. He laid down and let her curl into him. He pulled their one thin cloth over both of them. He listened to her breathing slow. When he was sure she slept, he reached into the small pocket of his bag and pulled out a torn exercise book and a short pencil. He turned to a clean page and wrote numbers in the dim light, practicing quietly. 6 times 7. 8 times 9. Fractions. He drew small boxes and shaded them. He whispered answers under his breath and stopped when his eyes blurred. He closed the book and stared up at the underside of the bridge. One day, he said again. But this time it was only his lips moving, no sound. Back in the big house, Amora lay awake, her eyes on the ceiling. She thought of Chike's hands moving the groundnuts. She thought of the way his voice made the hard parts soft. She pressed her palms together and whispered, Please, let me learn like that again. Ngozi stood at her bedroom window, looking out at the quiet compound. She remembered the park, the torn shirt, the careful way the boy had kept his distance, as if he knew he could scare people just by being poor. She set her jaw. No, she told herself. I will not lose my child to a mistake. The night held all their thoughts like a closed fist. In one part of the city, a girl and her mother stood on opposite sides of a rule. In another, a boy and his sister lay under a bridge, holding on to hope. None of them slept quickly. In the morning, a new day would start with fresh plans, stricter rules, and the same heavy ache. And somewhere in the middle of those plans, a memory of small stones in neat rows would refuse to fade. Morning came cold under the bridge. Chike woke before Ada. He sat up quietly so he wouldn't disturb her. He watched the weak light spread over the dusty ground. The city was waking, buses coughing, sellers calling prices, metal clanging from a far workshop. He rubbed his eyes and held his torn exercise book. He didn't open it. He just held it, like a promise he refused to drop. He looked at Ada. She slept with her mouth a little open, her small hand holding the edge of the thin cloth. He smiled at her, then looked away. His chest felt tight. The night had been long, and his mind would not stop returning to the same place. The time before everything changed. Wake up, son, he whispered to himself, and memory opened like a door. It was a bright morning then. He could still feel the clean shirt on his skin and the stiff collar his father had ironed with careful hands. Stand straight, his father, Papa Uche, had said. A good mind needs a strong back. Chike had laughed and saluted like a soldier. They had walked to school together. Papa's hand was rough and warm. He carried a small bag of oranges to sell later, but he never let go of Chike's hand when they crossed the road. At the school gate, Papa had squeezed Chike's shoulder. You will do well in the quiz today, he said. Keep your head calm. You already know the answers. Chike had nodded, feeling tall. I will make you proud, Papa. You already do, Papa said, smiling so wide it made his eyes shine. The memory pushed forward. It was the school hall, rows of chairs, the smell of chalk and wood polish, the soft buzz of whispers. The quiz board at the front. Mrs. Amina calling his name. Chaik, your turn. His heart had pounded then too, but in a good way. He had walked up to the board and read the question aloud so his mind could hear it clearly. What is 3/4 plus 1/8? He had seen the fractions become shapes in his head. He had drawn them carefully. It is 7/8, he said with a steady voice. The hall had burst into claps. He had turned and seen Papa standing at the back, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand, laughing and clapping. Later, Papa had lifted him up outside the hall. You are light, Papa said, because your head is full of bright ideas. The memory softened, then cut. He stood again in another day, this one heavy and grey. The room had smelled of medicine and sadness. A nurse had spoken softly. I am sorry. People had moved in slow motion. A white sheet had covered a face he knew better than his own. Someone had tried to lead him away, but his feet felt like they were tied to the floor. At the burial, the soil had sounded loud on the coffin. Boom, boom. Each sound had said the same thing. Gone. After, people had hugged him and said words that fell like dry leaves. Be strong. It is well. God knows best. He had nodded because there was nothing else to do. Life after that felt like a shirt that did not fit. The house changed. The kitchen felt smaller. Laughter left and did not return. His stepmother, Mama Ladi, kept her voice sweet when people were around, but it tasted bitter when the door closed. She stopped looking at him like a child. She looked at him like a burden. School fees? She said one afternoon, her eyebrows up. With what money? We have not even paid for the new generator. Chaik had stood straight, the way Papa taught him. I can help, he said. I can sell oranges after school. I can fetch water. Please, let me stay in school. She clicked her tongue. You think oranges will pay school fees? You should be grateful you are eating here. Don't bring stress to my head. His step-siblings, Bayo and Zara, watched from the doorway. Bayo smirked. Schoolboy, he sang. Go and read your big books to the goats. Zara laughed into her hand. 2 times 2 is you are done. Chaik ignored them and tried again. My teacher said I am doing well. He said I can get a scholarship if I keep my grades. Mama Ladi folded her arms. Scholarship? When? In your dreams? Better wake up. We are cutting costs. From tomorrow, you will stay home and help with house chores. He felt the floor tilt under him. Please. She pointed at the door. Go and wash plates. He washed. He swept. He kept quiet. In the evenings, he took out his books and read by the weak bulb. The pages made him feel close to his father again. Fractions, shapes, word problems. He whispered answers to himself. I will not forget, he told the pages. Weeks later, he wore his uniform anyway and went to school without permission. He thought, if I just show up and work hard, the path will open. But the bursar called him aside and shook his head. We cannot let you sit exams without fees. Chaik. I am sorry. You are a good boy, but rules are rules. He had stood outside the gate, holding his books tight, as other children walked in. He watched the guard slide the gate closed like a lid. At home that evening, Mama Ladi did not speak. She looked at him, then at the books on the table. She picked them up one by one and dropped them into a black nylon bag as if they were dirty clothes. From today, she said, you will stop this nonsense. He reached for the bag. Please, they are all I have. She pulled the bag away and pushed him back with her elbow. Do not raise your voice in my house. Bayo leaned on the wall, smiling. The dropout has dropped. Zara danced in a small circle. School is over. School is over. Chaik swallowed hard. He forced his words to stay steady. Papa wanted me to finish. He said. Your father is gone, she said flatly. I am in charge now, and I say you will work. He did work. He cooked when asked. He carried water. He scrubbed the veranda until his back hurt. Still, he woke before dawn and read in the dark while the house slept, tracing old problems with his finger when he could not find a pencil. Then one loud afternoon came like a storm. He returned from buying bread to find the front door locked. A small pile of clothes sat on the step. His shirts, his worn uniform, Ada's 2 dresses. Ada stood beside the bundle, holding her doll. Her eyes were wide and confused. He knocked. "Mama Ladi." From inside, her voice arrived dry. "You will not live here anymore. I cannot feed useless mouths. Take your sister and go." He pressed his palm to the door. "Please open. Where will we go?" "Anywhere," she said. "Your father left nothing. I have my own children to care for. Go." Bayo whispered through the window, just loud enough. "Bye-bye, scholar." Zara pressed her face to the glass and made a sad face, then laughed. Chaik looked at Ada and smiled so she wouldn't break. "We will be fine," he told her. "Pack your dress. Hold my hand." They slept outside that night, not far from the house they could no longer enter. He tucked Ada under his arm and watched the stars until they blurred. He didn't cry. The tears felt stuck somewhere behind his ribs. In the morning, he took her to the riverside to wash her face. He gave her some bread and told her they were starting a new plan. "Will we go to school?" she asked. "Yes," he said. The word was a seed he put into the ground of his heart. Not today, but one day. The memory faded, and he was back under the bridge with the cool morning air. Ada stirred and sat up, rubbing her eyes. "Brother." "I'm here," he said, smoothing her hair. "Let's get ready." They folded the mat, washed at the public tap, and set out. They walked to a busy bus stop where people rushed past like a river. Chaik carried the small tray of groundnuts. Ada held a tin of sweets. They placed their things on a low wall and began to sell. "Good morning, sir," Chaik said to a man in a suit. "Groundnuts for the road." The man shook his head and hurried on. Another bought a small bag and left. The sun climbed. The noise rose. Chaik kept his voice polite and steady. "Fresh groundnuts. Madam? Thank you. Have a good day." He watched school children pass in clean uniforms. He looked quickly and then looked away so the ache would not grow too big. A boy joked with his friend about a maths test. A girl balanced a heavy backpack and laughed. The sight felt like standing outside a warm house, seeing light through the curtains, and knowing the door was locked. Ada tugged his sleeve. "Brother, are you okay?" He nodded. "I'm okay. Drink some water." She sipped and smiled up at him. "You will go back," she said, simple and sure. He smiled back, because her hope kept his head above water. "We both will." A soft breeze brushed his face. He heard a voice from the crowd, someone calling, "Groundnuts, please." He turned and served the customer, counting the coins carefully. His fingers moved the way they moved when he solved a problem. Slow, exact, certain. Somewhere past the traffic, a school bell rang. Chaik lifted his head and stood a little straighter, the way Papa had taught him. He placed the coins into the tin, took a breath, and faced the road again, his eyes clear. The day would be long, but he would not bend. He would sell, he would save, and he would not let the numbers leave his mind. And as the buses roared and people hurried, he kept one small, stubborn thought alive. A classroom, a board, a question, and his voice answering without fear. After the long day at the bus stop, Chaik counted his small coins twice and tied them in a corner of his shirt. He held Ada's hand as they crossed the road. "We did well," he told her, smiling so she would not see the tired lines on his face. "Tomorrow we try again." "Will you teach the girl again?" Ada asked. Chaik looked at the street, the traffic, the people who did not see them. "I don't know," he said softly. "Her mother said no." Ada squeezed his fingers. "She needs you." He nodded once, but he did not answer. At the same time, in the big house, Amora sat at her study table. The new tutor had left a list of sums. The page looked neat and scary. She tried one question. The numbers slipped away. She tried to remember Chaik's voice, build it first, then count, and her heart pushed hard against her ribs. She stood and went to the window. The sky was turning orange. She turned and looked at the door. The guard walked past outside. Her mother's office was down the hall. She could hear the soft click of Ngozi's keyboard. Amora took a deep breath. She packed a small zip bag with stones she had picked from the school garden and a handful of buttons from her sewing box. She put her homework inside. Then she took her light sweater and moved very quietly down the stairs. At the back door, the guard looked up. "Where are you going, miss?" Amora lifted her school water bottle. "To the garden," she said. "Just the garden, please." He nodded. "Stay where I can see you." She walked to the hedge, slipped behind it, and kept walking until the guard could not see her. She moved along the side path, heart beating fast, and slid out through the small gate that led to the side street. She did not run. She walked fast, past the bakery and the kiosk, past the bus stop where two women were arguing about change, and down to the small park. The trees whispered in the evening wind. The same bench waited like a friend. She sat and looked around. No Chaik. She checked the path. No torn shirt. No kind eyes. "Please come," she whispered to the air. "Please." Minutes passed. Her stomach turned heavy. She opened her book and tried to work alone. She placed 8 buttons in a line and made 3 rows. She counted, lost her place, and started again. Her eyes filled with tears. A shadow fell across the bench. "Are you counting soldiers or buttons?" a soft voice asked. She looked up fast. "Taik." He stood a few steps away, careful and unsure, as if a loud sound might send her running. He carried a small bag and wore the same thin slippers. "I didn't want to cause trouble," he said. "Your mother was clear." Amora shook her head quickly. "Please help me. I won't stay long. I brought buttons." He glanced at the gate of the park, then at the road, then at her open book. He sat at the far end of the bench, leaving space. "Okay," he said quietly, "but if anyone comes, you must walk away first. Don't get in trouble for me." "I won't," she promised. "I just need to understand this one." He looked at the page. "Fractions," he said, smiling a little. "They look scary, but they are just parts of a whole." He took the buttons and lined them up in 12. If we shade 3, that is 3/12. But watch this, he grouped them into 4 neat sets. 3/12 is the same as 1/4. See? You can reduce a fraction by grouping. Amora leaned closer. "So I can make the group smaller to understand it." "Exactly," he said. "You are the boss. You choose the group. Fractions obey the group." She laughed. "I like being the boss." He laughed too, softly. "Good. Now try 5/10." She moved the buttons into 2 groups of 5. "It's 1/2, she said, surprised that the answer sat in her mouth without fear. "It's so clear." "Because we built it," he said. "Your brain likes to see." They worked through the page. He tore a piece of paper from his old exercise book and folded it to show 4ths and 8ths. He drew lines and let her shade parts. He never raised his voice. He never rushed her. When she made a mistake, he said, "Let's rebuild it." As if the error was just a loose stone in a small house they were building together. After a while, her shoulders dropped, and her breath slowed. "Chaik," she said, looking at him, "I wish you were my tutor." He looked away, smiling in a shy, sad way. "I wish I was in school." They were quiet. The sky turned pink. The park felt soft and low like a secret. "Do you have parents?" Amora asked in a small voice. "I have a sister," he said. "Her name is Ada. I take care of her." "And school?" she asked even softer. "I will go back," he said, and the promise sat strong in the space between them. "Not today, but one day." Amora opened her mouth to ask more, but a deep voice cut through the leaves. "Amora." She felt the world jump. She turned. Kunnel, the family driver, stood at the path with his arms crossed. The guard from the house was behind him, eyes hard. People in the park turned to look. "Stand up," Colonel said. Now. Amora stood slowly. I can explain. No need, Colonel said. He looked at Chaik. You again. Chaik rose too, hands open to show he had nothing. Sir, we were just doing homework. I kept my distance. The guard stepped forward. We warned you. Don't come near her again. If we see you around this child one more time, we will call the police. Amora's eyes filled at once. Please don't talk to him like that, she said, voice shaking. He helped me. He didn't do anything wrong. Colonel kept his eyes on Chaik. Do you hear me? One more time and I will have you picked up for loitering. Chaik swallowed and nodded. He did not argue. He did not lift his hands higher. He lowered his eyes the way poor people learn to do when rich anger is pointed at them. I understand, he said. I am sorry. Don't say sorry, Amora burst out, turning to him. You didn't do anything. I asked you. Colonel touched her elbow. Let us go. Amora pulled her arm back. Chaik, thank you, she said quickly, her words tripping over each other. I will remember the groups. I will remember the halves. Chaik gave her the smallest smile, one that tried to be brave. You will do well, he said. Don't be afraid of the page. Colonel guided Amora toward the gate. The guard stood in front of Chaik one more second, as if to make the warning heavier. Then he followed them out. At the car, Amora's tears came fast. Please don't call the police, she begged. Please. Colonel sighed. His voice was softer with her. We won't. But you cannot do this again. Your mother will worry. She will do more than worry, Amora whispered. They drove home. The city lights flicked on one by one like small fires. In her room, Amora shut the door and pressed her face into her pillow. She did not want dinner. She did not want stories. She wanted the quiet park and the careful way buttons became answers. She whispered into the fabric, 5/10 is 1/2. 7 times 8 is 56. She said it again and again like a prayer that pulled her back from fear. At last, her body grew heavy, and she fell asleep with the page open on her bed. Under the bridge, Chaik and Ada ate a small bowl of rice someone had shared at the market. Ada watched his face. Did you teach today? He nodded once. A little. Did she smile? He thought of the moment a hard question had turned easy in Amora's eyes. Yes, he said. She smiled. Ada relaxed. Then today was good. Chaik looked at the dark river line, at the sleeping boys, at the skinny stray dog curled by the pillar. He let out a slow breath he had been holding since the park. He lay down and drew Ada close. One day, he whispered to the ceiling of the night. One day, we will not be chased away from learning. Ada's voice was already dreamy. One day, she echoed. And as the city finally quieted, 2 children slept with the same picture in their minds. A simple bench, a neat row of small buttons, and a hard thing becoming clear. Morning came with a heavy sky. Amora woke early, washed her face, and packed her school bag. She slipped her small zip bag of stones and buttons inside, then stopped. She remembered Colonel's warning. She pressed the bag to her chest and put it back on the shelf. Her hands felt empty as she walked out. At breakfast, Ngozi poured tea and watched her. Ready for today? She asked. Amora nodded. Yes, Mummy. We will have another tutor after school, Ngozi said. He comes highly recommended. Amora's stomach tightened. Okay. In class, Mr. Bayo smiled at everyone. Good morning, geniuses, he said. We will try something new today. A quick quiz. No talking. 10 questions, 10 minutes. A quiet wave moved across the room. Papers were passed. Pens clicked. Amora looked down at the first question. 9 by 4. She knew it was 36, but her mind began to run. What if it was wrong? What if people laughed? Her hand shook. She wrote 36 and stared hard at the number as if it might change on the page. Second question. 7 by 7. Her heart beat faster. She wrote 49, then crossed it out, then wrote it again. The clock on the wall was loud. She heard whispering feet, a chair creak, a small cough. The noise piled up inside her head like stones. Third question, 5/10 equals? She remembered the park, the buttons in 2 neat groups. 1/2. She wrote 1/2. Relief flickered, then faded. Somto yawned loudly behind her. This is easy, he whispered, not for her, but to the air. Mr. Bayo looked up. Silence, please. Amora tried to breathe. She reached question 6 and froze. 12/3. The answer was in her head, but it kept hiding behind the fear. She looked at the empty desk in her mind where Chaik would have lined up small stones and said, count in 3s. She pressed her lips together and wrote 36 again, then wondered if she had just copied the first answer by mistake. Time, Mr. Bayo said gently. Pens down. Amora's fingers let go of her pen. She felt the room closing in. The papers were collected. The class moved into a lesson, but her body was stuck in the quiz, like a foot in mud. When the results came back after break, Mr. Bayo walked along the rows and placed the papers face down. You will all improve from here, he said. This is just to help us see where we are. Amora turned hers over. 4/10. The red ink sat on the page like a wound. She swallowed hard. Her eyes burned. She blinked fast so the numbers would not swim. Somto leaned forward and whispered, 4, Iya. Mr. Bayo frowned. Somto, that's enough. A girl in front of Amora whispered to her friend, not softly enough. Her mum should buy her a new brain. The class giggled. It wasn't loud, but it was sharp. Amora kept her eyes on the paper. Her hands turned cold. She heard the clock again. Tick tick, like the class was counting how lost she was. After school, Mr. Bayo called her to his desk. Amora, he said softly, sit. She sat, clutching her bag. I know you are trying, he said. I can see it. But your fear is louder than your work right now. She stared at his tie. I am sorry, sir. Don't be sorry, he said. Be honest. Does your private lesson help you? She shook her head a little. It is fast. I feel small inside it. He nodded, thoughtful. I will call your mother. We may need special help for a while. Not punishment. Support. Tears rose at once. Please don't make her angry. I am not calling to blame you, he said. I am calling to help you. And I want you to remember this. One bad quiz is not your future. It is only a picture of one day. She nodded, trying to believe him, trying to breathe. When she reached the car, Kunnel raised his eyebrows. Good day. She smiled without teeth. It was a day. Back home, the gate opened wide like a mouth. Amora stepped out of the car and walked inside. She wanted to go to her room, but Ngozi called from the study. Please come. Amora entered. Mr. Bayo's voice was still fresh in her ears, so her chest was already tight. Ngozi kept her voice even. Your teacher called. He said there was a surprise quiz. Amora looked at the floor. He also said you got 4 out of 10. Ngozi continued carefully. He suggested extra support. Amora's eyes lifted slowly. I tried. I know, Ngozi said. I also know you met that boy again after I said no. Amora's mouth opened. Kunnel told me, Ngozi said. I am not shouting. I am telling you the truth. I am upset because you went against my rule. But I also heard you when you said you learn better with objects. So here is what we will do. She took a clear plastic box from the table and opened it. Inside were buttons, bottle caps, beans, small sticks. We will learn here, at home, with these, with a professional tutor. I will sit with you sometimes too, but we will not meet that boy again. Amora stared at the box. The items were clean and bright. They looked like hope and also like a closed door. Can I ask one thing? She said softly. What is it? Ngozi asked. Can you meet him? Amora asked. Just once. Please. So you see he is not dangerous. Ngozi's jaw tightened. She looked at the window for a long moment, then shook her head. "No," she said. "I have decided. The world is full of risks. I will not add one more." The new tutor came at 5. He was patient and kind, and he used the box of objects well. "We build groups," he said, copying the words that once gave Amora peace. But his tone was different. It was soft, but it was not Chike's voice. It was not the same bench. It was not the same steady eyes that waited for her to catch up without shame. She tried to focus. She lined up beans into rows. She counted slowly. Her mind kept jumping to the park, to a folded paper showing eighths, to a promise said in a gentle voice, "You are the boss." Here, she felt like a guest in her own head. When the session ended, the tutor smiled. "Good effort," he said. Amora nodded. She wanted to say thank you, but the words got stuck with her sadness. That night, she opened her notebook and wrote 7 times 8 is equal to 56 5 times. Then she closed it and lay down. Her pillow was cool. Her eyes were hot. Across the city, under the market sheds, Chike and Ada settled on their thin mat. The air smelled like fish, pepper, and smoke. Night guards with sticks moved between stalls, talking and laughing. A stray cat slid under a table. The place was noisy but safer than the open road. Other children already lay down to sleep, feet against feet, like a chain of small boats tied together. Ada yawned. Today was long. "It was," Chike said, smoothing her hair. "Sleep." She closed her eyes. He waited until her breath slowed. Then he pulled his torn exercise book from his bag and tried to study in the weak light leaking from a far bulb. He drew small squares and shaded fractions. He wrote multiplication facts the way Amora had done earlier, as if writing could glue numbers to the mind. He smiled to himself when he reached 56. "Don't forget me," he whispered to the page. A shout split the night. "Move, move. Clear this place." Flashlights stabbed through the rows. Boots thudded. A man blew a whistle. "Task force, pack your things." Children sat up at once. Some grabbed bags. Others froze. A guard banged a stick on a table. "No sleeping here. Move out. Move out." Chike jumped to his feet. "Ada, wake up. Wake up now." Ada rubbed her eyes, scared. "What is happening?" He rolled the mat fast, shoved the exercise book into his bag, grabbed the small bucket, the tin of coins. A man kicked a pile of old clothes aside and shouted again, "Out!" "Please, sir," a boy cried. "Our mat." "Go," the guard barked, sweeping a stick across the ground. The mat flew into the dark. Someone tripped. Someone else began to sob. The whistle blew again, sharper, closer. Chike pulled Ada behind him. "Hold my shirt. Don't let go." They rushed into the open street with the others. Flashlights burned their eyes. A wheelbarrow rolled past, knocking their small bucket. The lid popped open. The bar of soap slid into the gutter. Ada bent to grab it, but Chike pulled her on. "Leave it." They turned a corner and kept moving until the noise was far. They stopped near a half-built shop, walls up to the waist, no roof yet. The ground was rough and cold. Chike lowered the bundle of mat and looked inside. It was empty. In the panic, he had lost the mat. Ada's teeth chattered. "I'm cold." He took off his thin shirt and wrapped it around her shoulders. He stood in his undershirt and held her close, rubbing her arms. "I've got you." She looked up at him. "Will they come here too?" "No," he lied gently. "We are safe here." She pressed her face into his chest. He could feel her fear like a small bird beating its wings. He set his bag under her head for a pillow. He lay on the concrete, pulling her against him so her back would not touch the ground. "Tell me a number," she whispered, shivering. 7 times 8, he said. She sniffed. 56. "Good girl," he said. "Sleep." He stared at the dark sky with no roof above them. He listened to the far whistle, the fading steps, the city moving on as if their little storm did not exist. His back ached against the concrete. His jaw clenched. He let one tear slip because there was no one to see it in the dark. In the big house, Amora woke from a bad dream, heart racing. She sat up and hugged her knees. She did not know why, but she whispered to the night, "Are you okay, Chike?" Under the open sky, Chike answered a question no one heard. "I will be," he breathed. He held Ada tighter, and together they waited for morning on the cold ground that did not care who they were. Morning came soft and grey. Amora woke with a feeling she could not shake. She washed her face, dressed for school, and kept hearing the same whisper in her head, "Are you okay, Chike?" She held that thought like a small candle. At breakfast, Ngozi watched her closely. "You didn't sleep well," she said. Amora stirred her tea. "I'm fine." Ngozi didn't believe it, but she let it pass. "I'll pick you up today," she said. "We'll try a new routine." In class, Amora tried to listen, but her mind kept running back to the park, to the neat rows of buttons, to the soft voice that made hard things gentle. During break, she sat with a friend, Ife, on the low wall near the flowers. Ife leaned close. "How was the quiz?" Amora's mouth twisted. "Bad." "I'm sorry," Ife said. "Do you want me to help you after school?" Amora shook her head. "Thank you, but I learn best when I can touch things. Stones, caps. That boy showed me once, and it worked." Ife's eyes widened. "The boy from the park?" Amora nodded. "His name is Chike. He is kind. He wants nothing. He just teaches." "Will your mum let you see him?" Ife asked in a whisper. "No," Amora said. "She is afraid. I think she thinks he is dangerous. But he isn't." Neither girl knew that near the walkway, hidden by the big tree, Ngozi stood still with her phone in her hand, listening. She had come early to bring Amora lunch as a surprise. What she heard was not what she expected. The words, "he is kind. He just teaches," hung in the air like a bell that would not stop ringing. After school, the driver slowed at the gate for Ngozi to enter the car. She didn't get in. "Kunal, follow behind her at a distance," she said. "If she goes straight home, let her. If she turns, tell me." Kunal nodded. He knew that careful tone. Amora walked out with her bag, moving slowly. She paused at the gate, looked left and right, then turned away from the usual path, toward the small shops. She stopped at a stall, bought a small loaf of bread and 2 sachets of water, and tucked them into her bag, glancing around. From across the road, Ngozi watched, hidden by a parked truck. Something in her chest softened and scared her at the same time. Amora walked on, her steps quick now. She went down the familiar side street and into the small park. The trees whispered. The bench waited. She sat and placed the bread and water on the seat beside her like a plan she was proud of but afraid of too. A few minutes later, Chike appeared at the path with Ada. He looked thinner in the morning light. Ada clung to his hand. When Chike saw Amora, he stopped, unsure. "You came," he said. "I brought bread," Amora said, standing. "And water. For both of you." Ada's eyes grew bright. "For me too." "For you first," Amora said, smiling. Chike looked around, careful as always. "Thank you," he said softly, "but you didn't have to." "I wanted to," Amora said. "Please take it." He nodded and gave the bread to Ada to hold. Ada hugged it like a toy and grinned. Chike glanced at Amora's bag. "Homework." "Only one question," she said, almost shy. "Just one. Then I will go." He sat at the far end of the bench. "One question," he agreed. "Quickly." They bent over the page. He drew small boxes and let her shade parts. "See? 2/4 is the same as 1/2, he said. "You choose the group. Fractions obey." She smiled. "I remember." While they worked, Ada sat on the grass tearing the bread into small bites, eating slowly like she wanted it to last all day. She looked up at Chike between bites, as if checking he was still there. Behind a thick hedge, Ngozi stood very still, her hand pressed to a low branch. She could see them through the leaves, the careful distance, the neat drawings, the way the boy kept his voice low and his hand steady. the way he watched the path like a guard while he taught. She saw her daughter's face relax as fear left it. The sight pinched her heart. When the problem was done, Amora packed her book quickly. "I should go," she said. "Thank you." "Be safe," Chike said. "And don't run from the page." She nodded. Then she hesitated. "Can I ask one thing?" "Yes." "Will you be okay?" she asked, and the words came with so much worry it almost broke. Chike's mouth curved, brave and small. "I will try," he said. Amora looked at Ada. "Bye, Ada." "Bye," Ada sang, crumbs on her lips. Amora walked away fast, holding her bag tight. She didn't see her mother behind the hedge. Ngozi waited until her daughter turned the corner. Then she stayed, hidden, her breath a little shaky. She told herself to leave, but her feet did not move. On the bench, Ada leaned into Chike. "She is nice," she said. "She is," he said. "Do you think we will see her again?" "I don't know," he said honestly. He pulled the small remainder of bread and took a bite, chewing slowly. After a pause, he began to talk, not to anyone in particular. Maybe to Ada, maybe to the air. His voice went soft and far away. "I used to wear a uniform," he said. "A clean one. My father ironed it. He would press the collar and say, 'Stand straight, my son. A good mind needs a strong back.' He would walk me to school and wait at the gate. When we had a quiz, he would stand at the back and clap for me. He clapped like I had won the whole world." Ada listened, quiet now. "After he died," Chike went on, "everything changed. My stepmother said there was no money for school. She said I should wash plates and stop dreaming. My step-siblings laughed. They called me dropout. They sang it like a song." He looked at his hands. "I begged to stay in school. I even wore my uniform and went one day, hoping the door would open if I stood there. But they pushed me out because the fees were not paid. That day, the gate closed and I stood outside and looked at the board through the fence." His voice thinned. "Sometimes I feel like my brain is wasting away, like a strong hand is squeezing it small. I try to read at night. I write numbers in the dark. I talk to them so they don't forget me. I tell them, 'Wait for me. Please wait.'" Ada reached for his arm. "They are waiting," she said. "I know." He nodded, but his eyes were wet now. He wiped them fast, as if tears were not allowed. Behind the hedge, Ngozi's throat tightened. She gripped the branch until the bark bit her palm. The picture in his words woke an old picture in her mind. A younger Emeka, her late husband, wearing a faded uniform, walking long miles to school because he had no transport money, studying by candle, selling recharge cards after classes, refusing to drop his books even when people laughed. He had told her once, on a small bench long ago, "When you help a child who wants to learn, you help the whole future." She had loved the way he said it like a vow. On the bench now, the boy's voice broke again. "I want to wear a uniform once more," he said. "Not because of pride. Because I belong there. My head belongs with books. Ada belongs there too. I don't want her to learn the road the way I did. I want her to learn the classroom." Ada squeezed his arm. "We will go." "Yes," he said softly. "One day." His words hung in the air like a prayer that was afraid to be loud. Ngozi closed her eyes for a second. When she opened them, the scene was the same. Two children, one loaf finished, one hope still alive, holding each other up. She stepped back from the hedge very slowly, careful not to make a sound. She did not show herself. Not yet. She turned and walked away with her mind full and her heart heavy, carrying the sound of a boy who talked to numbers like they were friends he might lose. By the time she reached the car, her eyes were bright with unshed tears. Kunal opened the door and paused. "Madam." "I'm fine," she said quickly, but her voice was not steady. "Take us home." As the car pulled away, Ngozi looked out at the passing trees. Emeka's words would not leave her. The boy's voice would not leave her. She pressed a hand to her chest, as if holding both voices in place until she decided what to do next. Ngozi could not stop hearing the boy's voice. It followed her into the quiet house and sat with her at the table. That evening, she called Kunnel. "Take me to the park," she said. "No guards. Just us." They drove as the sky turned gold. Ngozi's hands were tight in her lap. "Wait here," she told Kunnel when they reached the park. She walked in alone, heart beating fast like she was the one breaking a rule. Chaik and Ada were on the bench. Ada was drawing circles in the dirt with a stick. Chaik was fixing a broken strap on his slipper with a thin thread. When he saw Ngozi, he stood at once. Ada jumped up and held her brother's hand. Ngozi stopped a few steps away. "Chaik," she said, her voice careful. "I came to talk." He lowered his eyes. "Good evening, madam." Ada hid a little behind him but peeped at Ngozi's neat dress and kind face. Ngozi took a breath. "I was wrong to judge you without knowing you," she said. "I was afraid. I am still afraid, because I am a mother. But I watched you teach my child. I heard you speak about school. I came to listen." Chaik glanced at her, surprised. "You watched us?" "Yes," she said. "I hid. I am not proud of that. But what I saw," her voice shook a little. "You were gentle. You kept your distance. You taught with care. And then I heard you talk about your father. About school." Chaik swallowed. He nodded once. "It is all true." "Tell me more," Ngozi said softly. "Please." He did not start at once. He looked at Ada first, as if asking permission. She squeezed his fingers. He turned back to Ngozi. "We had a good life," he said. "Not rich, but warm. My father worked hard. He made me love books. After he died, things fell apart. My stepmother stopped my school. She said there was no money. She threw us out. Now we sleep in different places. We sell things. We try to be safe." Ngozi's eyes softened. "Do you have anyone else? An aunt? An uncle?" "No," Chaik said. "Not here." "What do you want most?" she asked. He did not look away this time. "School," he said simply. "For me and for Ada. I want to sit in a class again. I want her to sit too. I want to stop running from the police at night. I want a door that closes because it is our door." Ada lifted her hand a little. "I want a bed," she added, shy. "A soft one." Ngozi almost smiled through the sting in her eyes. "That is not too much to want." Chaik kept his voice steady. "I don't want charity that makes me small. I want a chance to work and learn. I can clean. I can carry. I can tutor Amora. I can earn my way." Ngozi nodded slowly. "I respect that." Silence sat with them for a few seconds. The evening breeze moved the leaves. Somewhere a baby cried, then quieted. "Come to my house for dinner," Ngozi said at last. "Both of you. Tonight." Chaik's face went still. "Madam." "It is only food," she said gently. "And talk. Nothing more. You can leave anytime. I will send you home after." He looked down at his shirt, at the torn shoulder. "I am not dressed for a big house." "You are dressed as a human being," she said. "That is enough." He looked at Ada. "Do you want to go?" Ada nodded fast, eyes wide. "Okay," he said. "We will go." In the car, Ada stared at the soft seats like they were clouds. "Brother," she whispered, "it smells nice." Ngozi smiled. "You can open the window if you like. Breathe." At the house, the guard's eyes grew big, but he said nothing when Ngozi waved him aside. "They are my guests," she said. Inside, the lights were warm. The table was set with simple plates and spoons. Ngozi had told the cook, "Make jollof rice, fried plantain, and grilled chicken. And please add fruit." Amora stood at the doorway, unsure. When she saw Chaik and Ada, her face broke into a smile. "You came," she said softly. Chaik nodded. "Your mother invited us." Amora looked at Ngozi, who gave a small nod. "You may say thank you," she told Amora with a little smile. "Thank you, Mummy," Amora said quickly, hugging her. They Saturday. It was awkward at first. Ada held her spoon like it might fly away. Chike sat very straight, careful not to touch anything by mistake. Amora watched them, trying to make her face calm even though she wanted to laugh and talk at the same time. "Eat," Ngozi said kindly. "Please." Ada took a bite of plantain and closed her eyes for a second. "It is sweet," she said, surprised at her own voice. Chike ate slowly, like he was studying the food. "Thank you," he said. "This is the best meal I have had in a long time." Amora leaned forward. "Chike, can I show you my homework after we eat? Just one question." Ngozi raised a hand gently. "After dinner? Yes. But we do it together. I want to learn your way." Chike looked at her, unsure if he heard right. "My way?" "Yes," Ngozi said. "The way you used stones and groups. Teach us both." After they ate, Chike cleared his place without being asked. Ngozi noticed. He wiped a small water spill and settled back, waiting. Amora brought her book and the clear box of buttons and sticks. They sat around the table. "Okay," Chike said, voice calm. "Let's build 3/4." He lined up buttons into 4 groups and shaded 3 with a pencil circle. "This is 3 parts out of 4, he said. "If we add 1/8, we must speak the same language. So we change 3/4 to 6/8. He built it with more buttons, slow and steady. Now 6/8 plus 1/8 is 7/8. Amora watched, breathing easy. Ngozi leaned closer, eyes on his hands. "You slowed the fear down," she murmured, almost to herself. Chike looked up. "Yes, madam. Fear runs fast. Hands make it slow." Ngozi met his eyes. "Call me auntie for tonight." He nodded, a little shy. "Yes, auntie." Ada had finished her fruit. She drew neat circles on the edge of a paper. Amora pushed the box toward her. "Do you want to build a group too?" she asked. Ada grinned and made 2 rows of 5 beans. "1/2, she announced proudly. They laughed, small, true laughter that sat well in the room. When the lesson ended, Ngozi stood and walked to the window. She looked out at the dark lawn and then back at the table. Her voice, when it came, was steady. "Chike," she said, "thank you for teaching us. Thank you for being patient with my fear." She paused, choosing her next words like they were precious. "I cannot fix the whole world, but I can do something real for you and your sister." He didn't speak. He waited. "I will think tonight," she said. "I will plan well. Tomorrow, I want you to come back. We will talk about school. We will talk about where you sleep. We will talk about proper work as Amora's tutor. No rush, but no more hiding." Chike's mouth opened, then closed. He stood slowly. "Auntie, I don't know how to say thank you." "Say it by showing up tomorrow," she said. "Rest well tonight." He nodded. Ada nodded too, copying him. At the door, Amora touched the clear box and then looked at Chike. "See you tomorrow." He smiled. "See you tomorrow." The driver took them back. Ngozi watched the car lights disappear through the gate. She stood very still in the quiet house and pressed her palm to the table where buttons and beans still lay in small groups. Then she turned off the lights with a new decision forming in her heart like a sunrise she could not stop. The next morning, Chike woke before Ada. The air under the bridge was cold, but his heart felt strangely warm. He kept replaying Ngozi's words, "Tomorrow, I want you to come back. No more hiding." Ada stirred. "Brother, is it morning?" "Yes," he said, smiling. "And we have somewhere important to be." They washed at the public tap, shared a small piece of bread, and made their way to Ngozi's house. At the gate, the guard stepped aside without a word. This time, there was no suspicion in his eyes, only curiosity. Ngozi met them at the door, wearing a calm smile. "Come in," she said. Inside, Amora ran forward. "You came," she said, hugging Ada first, then smiling at Chike. They sat at the table, but there was no food yet, only a neat stack of papers and a new school uniform folded on the side. Ngozi spoke softly but clearly. "Chike, I did not sleep much last night. I kept thinking of your words, your father, and how you still fight to keep your mind alive. I can't ignore that. He sat straighter. Auntie. She held up a hand. I have enrolled you in a nearby school. You will start next week. Ada too. You will both have a safe place to live. Not far from here, but close enough for you to come often. And, if you agree, you will work here as a Morris tutor every evening. I will pay you a fair wage. Chike blinked hard, but the tears still came. I don't know how to. You show me by making the most of it, she said. Ada clutched the table's edge. A real school? With a uniform? Yes, Ngozi said warmly. And a bed. And books that are yours. Ada turned to Chike, eyes wide. Brother, we did it. He smiled through the blur in his eyes. Yes, Ada, we did. Amora leaned forward. Now you can teach me without the guards chasing you away. Everyone laughed, soft, relieved laughter that filled the room. Ngozi placed the uniforms in front of Chike. Your father would be proud. Chike touched the fabric like it was something holy. Thank you, Auntie. You've changed our lives. I only opened a door, she said. You're the one who will walk through it. That evening, the park bench sat empty, but the learning continued around the dining table. Buttons, beans, and pencils moving in neat rows. Amora's laughter rang louder now, free from fear. Ada counted proudly beside her, showing off her half-groups and full sets. From her seat, Ngozi watched them, her heart lighter than it had been in years. In the quiet of her mind, she heard her late husband's voice again. When you help a child who wants to learn, you help the whole future. She smiled. This time, she believed it more than ever. And somewhere deep inside, Chike knew that the gate that had once closed on him was finally open. And this time, it would never shut again.